Good afternoon, everyone, and
Good afternoon.
welcome to another round of Reimagine School Leadership Virtual Webinar Series powered by UniApply. I'm thankful that we have been doing these webinars to understand more about on the ground back to school, which is our focus area currently. So we are trying our best to catch and understand from educators as well as from principals of the school about what's happening back once we have opened up our schools in different cities. We started this webinar series with Gurgaon as a city. Then we actually covered Noida, Greater Noida, Faridabad, Pune, and now we have come to Mumbai. So back to school is our webinar topic, and we are also going to talk a bit about decoding the admission process for schools in Mumbai. With me, I have eminent educators and principals from various schools in Mumbai. Let me introduce my panel members. I have with me Dr. Piyush Tarasaran. She is the academic director and principal of Dr. Yashwant Rao Dode World School in Mumbai. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining.
The pleasure is mine. Good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. We have with us Mrs. Graceling. She is the principal at Young Ladies High School in Mumbai. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure, ma'am. We have Ms. Swati Mukherjee. She is the executive director of Radhai Inskep School in Navi Mumbai. Ma'am, thank you so much for taking out time and joining on this webinar.
Yes, thanks a lot and good afternoon to all.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. We have with us Ms. Subhadra Shinoy. She is the principal at Subhadra ma'am is the principal at Little Angels International School. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining on this webinar.
Thank you. I'm looking forward. Yes.
And last but not the least, we have Sharmila ma'am. She is the principal of CP Goenka International School in Thane. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining.
Good afternoon, everyone, and the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for inviting.
Yeah. So we'll not spend too much of time and straightforward. We'll actually deep dive and see what's happening in the city of Mumbai with respect to once we have opened our school. Largely what we have learned from other cities, Delhi NCR and a part of Maharashtra and Pune, that most of the schools have opened doors back for their school students to come back and study in an offline mode across these cities. And most of the schools are also sharing their views with respect to in these cities that there is a presence of students which have started budding into the campus. We'll do a deep dive and see that what's happening in Mumbai from the eminent panelists and figure out that what are the ways in which back to school will work and how the admission process for Mumbai schools is overall. So I'll not spend too much of time here and quickly go to Sharmila ma'am. And ma'am, a question largely from a perspective that is your school now fully operational for physical classes or you are still in a hybrid mode?
Well, that's a very interesting question because which is asked by everybody. Almost everyone wants to know what is the situation out there. And let me tell you, here at Thane, all the parents are really not comfortable sending the children. So we are totally into hybrid mode. So we have physical school running successfully. And at the same time, we have our students who are for some or the other reason. Most of the parents, it has so happened, Mr. Vikram, I must tell you, that the parents have gone to hometown. They're not back yet. So we don't want children to be deprived of any kind of education, the classes which are going on. So they are continuing with the online classes itself, and we have physical school going on successfully, and we are as the SOPs have been lined up by the management, by the state government, the focus is mainly on of course the emotional and mental health of students. And we ensure that when we are conducting various activities, keeping in mind the mental health and social, all those activities in mind, we ensure that we show everything to our students who are sitting behind the camera in the window, and they are also able to, enjoy everything. There are various reasons for which they are not able to come. But we are happy that nearly almost, I must say, 80 to 90% of the students have come back to school. And initially we didn't have that kind of a response, but when the others saw that how the children who are coming to school are enjoying, the others also started coming in. And parents, of course, they want to ensure that the cleanliness, the protocols are followed very well. So we took the advantage of this online space, and we conducted online, on YouTube, we conducted orientation, so we could involve maximum parents and outsiders as well. When they got the assurance from the orientations that what kind of precaution is taken at our school, they started sending their children to our school. And now we are very happy to have all the schools running, all the classes running successfully, so much so that pre-primary section, 100% all the parents are willing to send their children because they want to come. They have not explored the school, unfortunately. So the little ones and their parents, who were the entire family, would be, literally in the online space. Grandparents, parents, uncles, everybody would be seen in the screen, and they all would enjoy the activity. So now they want to come and see the school. So it is like, pre-primary section is quite a thrill to come to school. This is the situation here.
Sure, ma'am. So you are saying that 80-90% of the students are back to school, and parents who are actually not in Mumbai currently have gone back to their hometown. Those percentage of parents are only kids of those parents are doing online classes. Largely, ma'am, let me go to Subhadra ma'am and ask this question because she manages a large, I would say that earlier school till class 6. So from that point of view, as you said, Sharmila ma'am, in your experience, the pre-primaries are the ones where there is 100% attendance and enthusiasm to come back to school. And some of them have not even seen the school. They'll see it for the first time. So ma'am, what has been your experience, Subhadra ma'am, in your school?
Yeah, I think I second what Ms. Sharmila has said, because you're also, we have 100% attendance up till grades. The senior most boys, I would say, were in grade 5. We have like full complete attendance from the parents. I think right from the day one, we got a consent from all of them saying that we don't want hybrid. We want to continue, physical space. Of course, we transitioned slowly. We, made sure that their timings were, just almost similar to an online class, and then moved into like 1.5 hour to a half a day school, and then primary now comes completely their timing from 9 to 3. So I think that transition really helped the children, because I think it just gave them that chance of knowing, okay, because all the break time was at home, like ma'am said, the whole family was there to pick up things and give them everything was there at the, it's all around them. And suddenly now to pack their bags, come to school, have to open their own tiffin boxes. It's those simple skills which I think is what we looked at in the first few weeks. We worked only on that, along with, yes, the social, emotional, also simple skills of how you are going to be, self-reliant and more something you can start doing things your own, because that's what it's going to be your life now, in the coming months and maybe in the years also. So I think that really helped the children. It took them some time, but I think in the last, whatever, I think now from Jan, we opened up. In the 3 months, we can really see that the kids are, nobody wants us to miss a school unless we tell them that you're having a cold and you have to stay home. So I think that's the only reason why they stay home, is when they're a little unwell. And we've, of course, the parents have been very, very, have been very sensible that, they don't just send their children because they want them to go to school, but they are also worried about the other students in class. And that's been very helpful for us. So I think great feedback from the parents, and especially like ma'am said, the lower classes, I think enthusiasm is really high, and everyone wants to be in school. And I think, yeah, we are, the teachers and the team and me, all of us are having a great time having the kids back in school, of course. Yes.
Great to hear that, ma'am, that now the school campuses are budding with that
Yes.
noise of
Yeah. Yes, very much.
at least in Mumbai. So let me go to Gracelyn ma'am and ask her, because she runs a totally women-focused school. So from her experience in terms of what's happening in young ladies' high school, ma'am, it's your 100% attendance in class, or you are running a hybrid model?
Now we have a 60% attendance that we have in our school. Basically, as ma'am said, lower class is definitely 75 to 80% of attendance is coming. It is like all these years, for especially 2 years, the small kids, the younger ones, They have never experienced a school. They don't know what is a physical structure of a school, what is the exact curriculum of a school. Okay, take your bag, sit in front of the online, and that's what they have experienced. But when they come to school, they have seen a teacher live standing in front of them. They know what assembly is. They know how to move about. They know at what time, which subject to do. They exactly come to know how to write in a book, how to maintain a book. So kids are so happy. And as we do activities every day, so they are so happy to come to school that they want to come to school and they are on time. Let me tell this very, very clearly. They are punctual and they are on time on school. It is not that getting lethargic and getting up any time. They are coming to school on time. Of course, we have maintained that same timetable of our online because it will take time for the students to adjust with that 5 hours and 6 hours timetable. So as teachers, as principal, as students, as parents, they are sending the kids to the school, and those who are really could not come because of native place, they are like, Mama, I want to go to school. So let's go back to Mumbai. Let's go back to our house so that we can start with our school, because they are seeing the enthusiasm of the students. They are seeing what the child is doing physically in school, not just sitting in front of the camera and behaving like a student, but here it is like I am an actual student and interacting with my friends, interacting with my teacher, putting up my own ideas, getting the ideas from others, and things are getting lined up now. So we are getting a good response.
I have no doubt in my mind, ma'am, because we have been seeing this in other cities as well. So let me quickly go to Swati, ma'am. Ma'am, what has been your experience in your school? I probably can generalize it and say that it's probably the same as other principals here.
It's almost the same experience as ma'ams have narrated, and we have almost more than 80% of attendance here. And some of the children, those who are not able to come, they also have promised they will be coming. Of course, from April we won't have any hybrid model, so they will also be joining. But those who are not able to join, we are streaming the live classes for them, like the classes which are going on here in the classrooms. We are streaming the same for them to take care of all the stakeholders. Like teachers also should not be burdened, so to take care of them. And I would say that all the stakeholders are very excited. We all are thankful to God that we are open, because it was very difficult in between. We had started for few days, but again we have to shut it. So, and then during pandemic also, with the consent of parents, we had conducted many activities, celebrations, and children were like, once they used to come to school, they were not ready to leave, especially the junior kids, the pre-primary kids. So we had Diwali celebration and some celebrations, and few days back we had the science exhibition also. Last Saturday we had. So the children are happy, we all are happy, and wish and pray that it should continue the same way it is there. And now exams also are have started. So we are taking the model test papers. So it's more than 80% attendance at our place.
Sure, I think Dr. Saran, I will not take your feedback on this question. I'm assuming that you are also in the same boat as all other Mumbai schools. So I'll quickly take up, ma'am, question with respect to what do you think, ma'am, and it's to Dr. Saran. What do you think? What are the unique challenges the students will face when they head back to school now? You would have observed it in the last 2 weeks. So can you throw some light on that? That since for the last almost 2 years, everything was online and nobody was coming to school. Now, when you open doors for physical classes, what is the difference you are seeing, and what are some of those challenges which, as an educator, you will have to grapple with and ensure that you provide support to the kids in that direction?
Yeah, Vikram, thank you. It's a very, what do I say? Yeah, this is a very practical question that you have put forth. And yeah, we all, I think it's in the school, every school, this is the issue that is coming up, is basically the speed of writing. from grade 1 to grade 5 children have suffered from past 1.5 years. Basically, who are in junior, senior, they have why the parents send to pre-primary is basically to interact, to have a bit of discipline in them, and discipline in the sense like timing, what was already mentioned by Mrs. Swati and the others, that the timing, that what time they have to study which subject and how to be in routine, those things which has been lagged now, and it has been slacked. And we are though we are having 100% attendance, and all the parents from grade pre-primary onwards till 10th, we are having 100% attendance from day one. Till date we had this, we didn't have any sickness reported or anything, and we could manage it well with all the protocols. Except for grade 1, there are some parents who are out of Mumbai, and so we have continued with online class for only for grade 1, and rest all we are having offline. But yes, the problems what we are facing is that down first to fourth standard children, they don't want to sit in one chair for longer time, and that the posture they would like to sit and listen to the teacher or interact with the teacher is taking more time to adjust. They want to stand, they want to run about, and they want to eat in between. So these are the little things we say, but these are the very major things that we are. So for first, second standard, we have allowed them to bring some finger food types things, which they can just eat some and not get distracted. They're there, and then the discipline of getting up early in the morning. Initially, when we started for 15 days, we didn't have any assembly or anything, because this little children, we understand as a parent also, I understand this, as well as a teacher and the principal of the school, I understand the problem the parents must be facing to wake them up early, dress them up and send them to school. So we gave them around 15 days to adjust to all these things. So now we are back to the normal routine. We are following the same timetable as per we were doing online. But this thing, little things, that is like the emotional and the psychological development of the children, that has really, terminized to all the teachers. And we are tormented with that, and we are going to, it is going to take time. We cannot say over the days that 10 days they came, now everything is back to normal. This is not practically what we will speak about. It will take some time, but I'm sure if this continues by August, September, that is the first assessment with the next academic year, everything will be normal to a certain extent.
Oh, ma'am, I hear you, ma'am. So you have raised points related to challenges more from a point of view of routine, more from a point of view of writing habits, which probably on the screen students have not developed or have not done it for the last couple of years or so. And obviously there is this angle to entire socio side of entire growth. But the other big thing I feel, and Gracelyn ma'am, help me if you can throw a bit light on that, there is a learning gap definitely has been created because the entire delivery mechanism of a school went online. So where do you see that from a challenge point of view for a school and a teacher? How are you going to look at that? Obviously, these are early days, but I'm sure you would have probably thinking in that direction, that how to ensure that this learning gap is mitigated in the next few months, if not weeks.
Actually, what has happened is, as ma'am mentioned, many parents were under the impression that this pandemic is going to prolong for another 6 months or at least for a year. So parents are not prepared. On the contrary, teachers are not prepared. So when a parent is not prepared, the parent is taking it very lightly. What will happen? The child is going to sit at home. The child is going to sit and only write, or not even maintain a proper notebook at times. I'm not talking about the major crowd. I'm talking about the least crowd who have not paid much attention to maintaining a proper book also. Now, if you take a first standard child, the child doesn't know that an index has to be made. And not only a first standard child, the child who's in 5th or the 6th grade also is not able to do that, because that training is lost. The training of maintaining a proper book. At home, what was happening is you had a leisure time. Anytime things were sent on classroom, things were sent as videos. you could watch it at your space of time. But when it is a school, everything needs to be structured properly. It is structured, and they are finding it difficult. But as a psychologist says, 21 days of practice makes a man perfect. After 21 days, whatever you practice, it comes into your habit, and then you don't forget that. So it will take time. It will take a lot of time for this transition, for this learning gap, especially because, as ma'am said, they have lost the habit of writing. Now, if you look at an SSC board exam, it's a 3 hours paper. They don't know how to write even for a half an hour paper. Their hands are paining. They are not able to pen it down, what they want to write. Now they will have a real challenge when they appear for the boards. And definitely it is not only a challenge for the students, it's a challenge for the teachers as well as the parents, because their concentration level is not going to be there for 3 hours. An online class was only for a 30-minute or for a 40 minutes gap. After that, definitely we have to give them a break, because
I think we've lost. Ma'am, you are on mute. Gracelyn, ma'am, you are on mute. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
So that 10 minutes gap that has happened. So we are giving in school also. After every lecture, we do give them a gap of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So they are refreshed. They are able to move about from one bench to another bench. So slowly and steadily, we will also win the race, and the students will also get into this learning habit, because now they know they are not excused from this offline exam. It is no longer going to be an online, it is going to be an offline. So now parents are taking interest. Now the students are taking interest and seeing to it that everything is done on time and as per the timetable. So this transition will definitely take a time, but it will happen. It will happen.
I have no doubt in my mind that, ma'am, it will happen for sure, with educators and teachers pushing their envelope to ensure that the kid is learning what needs to be learned in the school. So that brings me to an important question. And Subhadra, ma'am, if you can take this question with respect to what parents can do. So the educators and teachers are kind of playing their role in ensuring that the transition is smooth. What is your advice to a parent that what all they can do which will help student to transition in a better way when once now they are going to the physical schools?
So I think, yeah. So basically, I think it's a partnership, and we all know that, if we don't walk this entire route together, it's going to affect the child the most. And I think I can give you an example of what we did. Is when we knew that this entire transition had to happen, we had an orientation with the parents where we took a feedback from them saying that, okay, simple things of what's been challenges for them, how we can probably create some solutions for that. And also, how is it going to be for them, like simple things that we told them, that the child is going to come back to you and say that there's nothing which happened in school today, because that's what children will have fun, and they'll go and say, "Arey, aaj to bahut, we were playing, we enjoyed ourselves." So what in 2 years, so much what was happening in your child's life. Suddenly you will find a void, because the child is not going to come home and tell you. So we said it's going to be a different life for you now. Of course, you're going to get the pleasure of not needing to sit with that child for so many hours, because I think parents really did a great job as almost assistant teachers, I would say, because they were the teachers there, picking up from where the teachers left and doing it with the children. So I think it's, and I'm sure all of us, have played different roles in the online time, being educators, being parents, being having family there at home to support. So the parents have done a lot already, and I think for them it is also gradually you're weaning off that and now allowing the school to sort of take over. So we had a lot of conversations. We did talk to them about other challenges, which included, of course, something very important, the transport, and how the children will lead come into class, and those kind of things. Also, we said, let's see how we can sort it out. But I think mainly I think as a school, what we told the parents you could do best is give yourself some time and the child to slowly get into this habit of knowing that, okay, they're going to be 9 to 3 in the school space, or they're going to be 9 to 12 as an EYP. And then make sure that you slowly start talking to your children to understand why they say no for something, and we will keep you sort of informed. And of course, the school is always there for you to come and give a call and find out what's happening. So initially we allowed the parents to even come into class to get the transition going for the little ones. Of course, I don't think any child really wanted the parent there. They were quite happy to say bye and walk away and come into class, except for the really young minds of ours who took a little time to come. So I think we kept telling the parents, saying that you have to give time. Time is the only thing which will give both of you a chance to sort of understand what's happening. We also I think had discussions with the teachers and with the parents, saying that you may find suddenly everything slowing down, because now we know the real essence of the learning which has happened. And at some point I actually told my teachers, stop, don't just rush into your curriculum and your syllabus, because if we do not clear this gap, it is just going to widen later. So we got back to actually sitting and deciding, saying that, okay, this class, this entire group seems to have only reached here, whereas this group seems to have this. So we just had a PTM, as an individual PTM, where we spoke to the parents of how it has been in the last 3 months. So the parents got an idea of how it is, that, okay, in the 3 months, some things have worked, some things have not worked, how they can support. And of course, we do usually we have something called an enrichment class, where we tell the parent that, start sending your child there, so that little gap, we can start sort of filling up, and the child is more motivated in class to do it. So I think this support from parents to trust the school and start working with the school on these small things to get the child to feel more comfortable in the school. I think, yeah. And I did in the discussion it came also about the regular routines being set at home, because yeah, that's been toughest on both the parents and children, including teachers. I mean, all of us suddenly had now into a routine of 9 to 3, 9 to 12, which, like ma'am said, there was more flexibility. We had more time in hand. We could do things at the way we want, at the hour we wanted. But now, the routines are setting. So we did give parents that, saying that you take a little time, we understand, but put routines in, because otherwise, if structures don't come in, children are going to find it more difficult. So I think that's been something which I think we've tried working out, and touch wood, in the last 3 months, we've seen everyone settling. And no one really, we don't have to struggle with calling up and saying, why this is not happening. Ye kyun nahi ho raha hai? That's not happening at all. So I think people are now slowly moving into it. And I think having these parent interventions regularly, I think that's the best key to, keeping everyone at base. Yes.
Or ma'am, so clearly from a parent's point of view, they should actually support teachers and educators by ensuring that the routine of child is maintained, and they should also ensure they should deep dive and see what's happening, which will help them talk to your kid and understand more about how they are doing in school and all that. So that brings me to an important question, and I'll go to Sharmila ma'am. Ma'am, you said that around 10-15% of the parents are still in their hometown. And as we know, all of us know, that most of the big cities, when the pandemic struck, many parents actually left and went to their hometowns, since most of the work was online and they could manage the work from anywhere. So now it's, ma'am, what is your advice to parents who have gone to hometown and they are still working from home? Schools have opened up. What is your advice to them, that they should come back? How, when? And what is your actually guidance here to parents?
Of course, definitely. All of you will agree with me that all those who are staying at hometown, they should be coming back to school. And as I said, that we've been showing them when we are taking the classes, the students who are there online, rather they have started now asking their parents that let's go back home and start attending schools. Basically what happens, we always tell parents that it is not only a job of educational organizations or only parents. It is the combined task of parents as well as the school, the teachers. Unitedly, we can achieve the goal, because both of us share the common goal, and the goal and the aim is, of course, helping our children to reach their best. That is the common goal that we share. So if in case we have the with their cooperation only, we are going to reach to that goal. So if you are with us, if you are ready to work hand in gloves with us, definitely we are going to reach to that particular point, and all of us will be very happy at the end. So we are asking them and we are telling them, and the parents also are trying to, again, there are various other problems also which they are facing. But of course, apart from that, many of them are willing to come back and they are planning also. Suppose there is a change, shift in the job or something, that those are again different problems. So they are expecting to come back. At least, we have this couple of months in hand now. In all the probabilities, we are expecting, keeping our fingers also crossed, that June onwards, things will fall in place, and this new normal probably will shift to the regular normal, and all of us will be able to, conduct school, of course, in a very beautiful blend of, yes, physical school, but with the use of technology. Because I feel that technologically all of us have advanced to such an extent that conducting a physical school class also will not restrict to PowerPoint presentations or only chalk and board method. It has gone much far beyond it. So gamification and all those will be used in the classes, and the classes are rather going to be all the more interesting. So I am very much hopeful, and I'm sure rather that June onwards, all of us, all the parents are going to come back. They have this kind of thought also in mind. Just a month, a month after again the summer vacation. So let us adjust for this month, since the government also has given us that kind of a benefit or arrangement has been done, that facility has been given of the hybrid school. The school has taken efforts on conducting hybrid classes. We have everybody must have done that, the technological support which has been provided to teachers. So school also has taken efforts. So why not to pull on for a month? This is the approach that parents have. So after this summer vacation, post which I'm sure everybody will come back to school, I'm quite hopeful.
Or ma'am, I understand your perspective and I relate to it, because I've been talking to many parents myself that let's just end this session online, and once the new session begins post the vacation, we can come back to our actual town from our hometowns and then join the school. But you think that approach is to some extent good, bad, or how do you think from that lens? And Sharmila ma'am, largely I'm coming from a point of view that 1 month is quite a lot. Once you start the school, 30 days is enough for a child to get back in the rhythm. So you want to advise parents to just, it's okay, you can send it in the new academic cycle, or you want to tell them that come back to school, now we are okay?
I would, if given a chance, I would like to say that, Mr. Vikram, but again, we are not supposed to force anyone to come back. And, we are making this online, offline also quite interesting, because of this online, we are able to connect. Now, today also, all of us are sitting in our own offices and we are so comfortably, we have connected with each other. So something that, the collaboration which is happening from our school, we are collaborating with number of other schools, and we are having this kind of study programs which is happening regularly. That is possible only because of this kind of teaching that we are following. So there are certain advantages. So I would not definitely want to force parents, because rather I would say that, I mean, I don't know, but you will agree with me, this is the time wherein we may probably will be able to build in that kind of trust and faith in parents, that we are here to understand them, we are here to empathize with them. So if you are in problem, don't worry, we are here to support you. So I definitely would not force to anybody to come back to school if there are genuine reasons behind it. Rather, I would say this is the right time to create that kind of very strong bond between the parent and the school management. So if the management is ready to understand the parents' problems and concerns, I am sure at this point in time, the parent will have 100% faith in school. They will start trusting the school, and the bond that we always want to create between the parents and the management and the school authorities will be, I think this will be the right time to create that kind of a bond, which will help, for coming all the years. That is my take on that.
Sure. So Sharmila ma'am is saying that I'll not force any parent largely to come back to school. On a lighter note, ma'am, I hear you and I understand where you are coming from. But the other side of the coin is that you are running offline and online both currently. And Dr. Saran, I'll quickly come to you, then I'll go to Swati ma'am. The managing offline and online by a teacher is a hectic task from a teacher's point of view. When pandemic happened overnight, from whiteboard and blackboard, we turned into an online screen. Teachers played a very important and crucial role in ensuring that the learning continuously happens. Now, to some extent, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We are at the endemic now, hopefully. We probably will not see this prolong. The teachers again will have to play a bigger role of managing a hybrid kind of an environment, half of the classroom in physical mode, half of the classroom in an online mode. So ma'am, what parents as well as others also think about this perspective, the other side of coin. What do you think? What you are doing for your teachers as educators and as I would say management committee members of schools to support them to manage or navigate in the hybrid environment?
See, Vikram, I've already made this very clear that our school is not doing a hybrid thing. And from very day one, we had 100% attendance or a physical school. In fact, in this week, we have also started for pre-primary. It is only grade 1 that was having some, because some parents are out and all, we can understand. And it is a good thing also that we can concentrate on 2nd to 4th for their thing, other. Yeah, it has been a lot of emotional rather than, the learning and all those things. There's a lot of emotional turmoil also that has gone through the teachers or the students or any of the support staff, this thing. And yeah, we have taken this as a, not to be like what Shenoy ma'am said, that we are not focusing on the 100% completion of the syllabus. All the chapters should be taught and all. Let's see, in junior classes, about to grade 4, we believe the vocabulary should be more. The importance, the concept that should go to them. So we are just focusing on those things so that teachers as well as the students, both of them, we have to think of the comforts of both. We cannot just see, okay, teachers are disturbed, so we should just do 2 chapters. That is also not fair. And the students, the capacity to intake has now, basically it has been reduced. Because once you start 1.5 to almost 2 years now, that what they would absorb in this classroom setting and what they have been absorbing in an online class. So there is a lot of difference in the learning, which you have said earlier. So we have to bridge this gap. And we cannot take too much of time to bridge this gap because, the education system is now evolving into a vast ocean. First, it was limited to a textbook, but now it is not. It is like, you can say, the 7th, 8th, you have to start referring to different books for different problems. So we have to bridge this as soon as possible. So the main concept, the main vocabularies that are highlighted, and we have moved on to that way. Without burdening, without burdening anyone.
Okay. Swati ma'am, what has been your experience? How are you supporting your teachers?
As we all know that our teachers also had undergone a lot, right from that conventional classrooms to the screen, to the platforms, to preparing the job sheets, then making children sit in front of the screen, and then to satisfying parents also, because parents also had n number of issues in the beginning, like they were comparing the online classes with offline classes, and also further we don't want to burden the teachers. So what practice we are following at our schools, we are just taking the classes, and the same classes are getting streamed for the children, those who are attending the sessions at home. So you can say that this is a hybrid thing which we are following. Number 2 is about the what we are going to continue from April also, because we all know that as per NEP we should follow the blended learning. So not in the same form of hybrid, what the streaming and all is going on, but some sort of technique and mechanism has to be developed to have this technique, what we have learned, teachers have learned, the entire fraternity has learned, that has to be continued, and that is the mandate for NAP as well. Now coming to the learning gap and bridging this gap, my teachers are working on the bridge course material we are getting designed, because there is a huge gap. The children, those who are getting promoted from the pre-primary section to grade 1, even from grade 5th to grade 6th, and then similarly from primary to middle classes, there is a learning gap. So once we conduct the class, exams, we will map the entire outcome, like where the children are lacking, what particular content, topic, subject, where they want more attention. So similarly, we are working on the bridge course material, and we will be sharing, and we of course want parents also to help us, and children should know. There was a question in between how parents, so of course we are taking the orientation sessions, but the children should know basically that my teacher, my educator, my school management, and my parents are there on the same page. Sometimes children are very smart, they take advantage of this. So we are not burdening the children, the teachers.
Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. So that brings me to a point that largely, if you see, many parents probably haven't taken admission for their child in nursery for the upcoming session. Thinking that probably the pandemic will prolong and they'll figure out what is to be done. Many of them are still in their hometown. So that's also another point of contention. What is your advice to those parents who have not taken admission for the upcoming session in nursery, largely for the first pre-primary class? And I can go to Gresleen ma'am and then come back to Subhadra ma'am to understand what is your perspective, what is your feedback to those parents who have not taken admission in nursery for their child now?
My advice will be, you have spoiled your child's future. A child who's at an age of 3 is like a soil where you can just go on putting the seeds and the child just absorbs it. And that level you have not given to a child just because you were thinking that it will take another 1 year. Let me be at the ease of time. Let me stay at home. This is at the cost of your child. You have spoiled your child's life. That is what I feel. Now what has happened is, now they know that the schools have reopened and we need to put our child. And when they come and see the scenario of the present pre-primary, they are shocked to see that the students who are attending the classes regularly are up to the mark. They are able to understand the English language very well. They are able to put it into practice, the activities that we want to do. And it is now like the parents, no ma'am, we are very sorry. We were like not able to put for many reasons, whatever reasons, but we could not put our child. So now please try and take our child. And when I take an interview, that is an eye opener for a parent as well as for me, when a child is not able to recognize a small figure. We don't take any big interview, but just recognizing the fruits or recognizing a flower, the child is blank. That is the time the parent wakes up and says, ma'am, we are really very sorry for what we have done, but we don't want to repeat this. We want to put our child online on par with other students. So now we are ready to work hard. If you give us an admission, we are ready to work hard with our students, at least for these 3 months that we have. June, when the school reopens, we will assure you that our child will be able to do well. So definitely, I will blame the parents for not taking an interest in their own child and keeping the child at home, thinking my child cannot attend an online class. As we all know, none of us were very good at computers. We have all learned. So a small child also, for half an hour, No school is telling them to join for 2 hours. It was just a half an hour session. If the parents and the child would have taken little interest, today that child would have been par with the other students who are attending online and are having the confidence to come to school and do much better.
Ma'am, thank you so much for not mincing any words in kind of putting this straightforward for the parents. And I'm very sure that, again, I'm not biased towards parents. I'm myself a parent, and I'm very sure that for many reasons, parents do take such decisions. And those decisions, they don't anticipate, as you rightly said, that what would be the repercussion of such decision. So, Subhadra ma'am, what is your opinion here with respect to what is the advice largely to the parents?
I think, yeah, for us, I mean, since we're a relatively new school, and yes, I mean, we had a lot of parents who came in, for admission, seeking admission the first year, and very unfortunate, like, the circumstances where, that this whole online thing was new for them. And obviously, I think they came with a kind of a notion which said that, will my child be able to sit in front of a screen for so long? And I think I can sometimes empathize with some parents, because I know at that time it was not only just the intention of the parent, it was also economics which didn't work for them. I mean, largely a lot of them is because they said they equated the time of school time with with the fees, and they found that something which was not doable for them. And I think, I mean, I understand that yes, situations were pretty bad for a lot of them, but of course there were also parents who could manage it, but thought that yes, and they could manage the the fees, but still were unsure whether the amount of fees and the time equated, which was something which I think was a lot of most parents fell into that bracket and were a little confused about the fact that, oh, it's just a 45-minute class and I have to pay so much of fees. So I think it's I see it more as a perspective, each parent who wanted to not come in for whatever specific reasons, but yes, as an educator, and I think like what ma'am has already mentioned, it's a I won't say a loss, but I would say yes, it's a gap for a child where when they come into a school, there's structure coming in, there's routines coming in, there is a sense of, okay, this is what I will do from this time to this time. Post this time, there are some things I may sort of carry forward. A lot of skills which come in. I think your social skills are maximum. Although we were online, I think there was still, we were able to do a lot of things, even in those cubicles or windows we are in, like we are all here sitting together and discussing something. And discussing also is a great way of sort of communication building within children. So I think if parents started seeing that as a way forward, to say that, okay, everything what was done even in those 45 minutes was the skill building for my child, I think it was a new setup for everyone. Maybe that is why, maybe after a year when they realized, they said, oh, this is something we probably missed. But I think there were a lot of parents who in the last 2 years didn't want to send to school. So I mean, I see it more from a parent's perspective, whether, and if, in fact, there were some parents when they came and told us what all they had done with their children in the 2 years, it was amazing. It was, I mean, it was really nice to see that the parents had taken really time out to make sure that they were, sort of working on the children, including the social bit of making sure that, they are connecting with other children and working out, different ways in which they can communicate socially with others, doing whatever small exercises they could do at home, academics, and also, of course, other co-curricular. So I think it is a lot to do with parents supporting the child and then leading them to a structured space, which is a formal schooling. But yes, I mean, always I think as educators, we feel that yes, this is the right age to sort of come into, in line with the formal education. And the children, if the parent has really not put in enough efforts and just left the child to just be by themselves for a year, then that becomes a big void for that child, because then for them to cope up, and it's a huge demotivation, motivator when it comes into a class and sees that everybody else knows a lot more than me. And like ma'am said, yes, then this gap filling becomes tough for the parent, for the child. So I would say that this was actually a situation which is very new for almost everyone, I would say. We also struggled to get into a system which is new. Parents also got, I think, a lot of other unfortunate incidents and didn't allow them. So I would see it as more of a learning for all of us. Maybe now we are also more confident. At least I would say personally, I'm more confident telling parents what they have missed, and what as a school we have done. and that's something we can definitely say that our nursery children have been able in a year, in a year they were able to do so much more. So if today one parent would ask me, I think I'm more equipped to talk to the parents, say that this is something you'll miss if your child is not there. Of course, if you're going to support it very well, I mean, nothing like it. That's what I feel. It's my personal opinion.
Or Web, I think that's really helpful. I'll go to Dr. Saran and ma'am, a very, I would say, continue to this question largely from a point of view that still there are many parents who think that, and I'm using the local lingo or Hindi language, कि नर्सरी में क्यों डालना है, कोई बात नहीं, अगले साल केजी में डालेंगे. What is your advice to them? I know a bit of it is already covered by Gracelyn ma'am and Shubhadra ma'am, but that is more from a point of view कि भाई online क्यों डालना है. But अभी physical school खुलने के बाद भी अब थोड़ा सा last 2 साल में to some extent people have that thinking कि nursery skip कर देते हैं next year. तो उनके लिए आपकी क्या advice है?
Vikram, many parents do I'll again say that most of the points have been covered, but most of them had many various reasons of not sending their child to nursery or KG. Rather, most of them even today don't realize the importance of sending to their children to nursery. Basically, it is not about learning or acquiring a knowledge. The present trend is of keeping things, they're keeping child in between the four walls, nuclear family and a very small family, hardly one child or at the most a sibling of age gap of 4 to 5 years. So that mingling with the social of their own peer group, we can say, is not happening, and it has not happened in this past 2 years. So, which is also very important aspect of their development life. Now, I compare it just like, a sponge. When it is very tender, it absorbs more water. But once it starts drying up, the capacity to hold water gets lessened. So it's not the same. So when the child is very raw at a very tender years of 2.5 and 3, when he has to go to play group and nursery, that is the time to learn many things in one go. It's not that what is being taught or what is to understand each other, to cooperate with each other. It's not to throw tantrums. All those, the emotional, the psychological development and the physical development that is taken place during the nursery age, that is the tender period, which is a very crucial period. And I think if the parents feel it is not a thing that they should go in for nursery, I feel there are many playway schools, or there small parks where they can take the children. Fine, no issues. You had a problem, you did not take them into nursery, admit them admissions in the junior KG. You can start with that, but I still feel to take out some more extra time and take them to some park or playway places, not those resorts and all, common public parks where they can mingle with other children. And you can see nowadays the parks are really bubbly and full of life of the children. So when let them mingle with each other for some time, and this sort of playing games is also like an exercise for them. So they learn, they will absorb. So we should not let this chance slip by and wait. Okay, bada hoga to sikh jayega. We should not wait for such things.
Sure. So clearly, NEP is also focusing a lot from that point of view of creating a curriculum which is 5 plus 3. 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3, largely from a point of view of integrating the play school or the Anganwadi, so to say, to ensure that the children get what is required at a particular age for that matter. So I feel personally that whatever you have shared largely from a point of view of what if parents are thinking that they should not put it in nursery, or they feel that online class probably will not provide that much guidance to a child than an offline class. I think everything is important for a student who's actually doing either online or offline. So the advice to parent is largely from a point of view that if the child is in that age, and if you want to look at largely from a point of view of 3 or plus, you should put in a formal school. Whether it is online or offline depends on what situation we will be in the future. But clearly now it looks like that it will be an offline, and there will be a lot for a child to learn. Now, the last, I think we have already almost at the fag end of our webinar, but this is very important question. Sharmila ma'am, I'll come to you, and then to Swati ma'am, largely from a point of view that as we were discussing this topic, we could think, and the real use case is clearly that many children did not join school. Many parents actually had a dropout for their child because they moved to their hometown. So they've taken those students out of the current school system and they've put it in their hometown. Many were actually learning online. So that creates a lot of, I would say, a demand issue at school's end, from a point of view of more children should come and join, because we have not seen that kind of enrollment in the last 2 years. So what is the admission process, Sharmila ma'am, at your school largely? And do we have seats in all classes currently for a lateral parent who's moving back from their hometown to put it in your schools? And what has been your experience overall on admission for the last 2 years?
Well, admissions definitely are going on, but some were affected as well, to a certain extent, yes. But as I said, that the parents who are not able to come back to Mumbai due to some or the other reason, and who prefer to stay back there itself. At the same time, there are other parents, because now that everything is opening up, there are certain parents who are expecting transfers and who are coming back to Mumbai. So there is a kind of balance which we are experiencing at this point in time. Admissions have begun, admissions have started, rather, as you all were talking, the students, the parents who did not admit their children at that right age and who missed out on that, they are coming back, they have started taking admissions, and we are also trying to accommodate everybody as much as possible. Of course, at our end, we also have certain limitations, and we are trying to, make them comfortable. So for next year, we have the admission process has started, it has begun. And we have, as ma'am was talking about the baseline assessments, we have also done the same thing. The students who have, for some or the other reason, who could not attend school the previous year, their prior knowledge will be checked through such kind of, baseline assessments and tests, right from the pre-primary section to grade 12. Everybody will be kept in the same loop, and then certain kind of assessments will be conducted for them, which will give us an assurance that how much knowledge the students have, and then accordingly the syllabus will be decided and planned and designed. That of course is for all the school. As far as admission process is concerned, we rather feel that because of this online space, parents have gotten used to exposure to various social media. So we are rather, it has become a boon to all of us that we are able to showcase all our activities or on social media. So looking at those social media, they are coming back to our school to see, because now they want to see the in physical space as well, and the infrastructure, face-to-face interaction, all those things are equally important. So now the admission process also, as I said, it is undergoing a change. We are giving equal importance to online kind of admissions as well. The process begins there. When you put on social media all the activities that you are doing, and you are exposing your children through social media to various parents, to various communities, the parents definitely are getting interested, and they are coming to see the actual school, actual teaching, how it is happening. So that way, the admission processes are going on. Certainly, of course, we are, waiting, and the parents are also equally interested in coming and checking with the entire admission process. So it is kind of again a blend.
Okay. Ma'am, what has been your experience, Swati ma'am, with respect to admission?
Yes. So arts is a new venture. Last year during pandemic only we started, and we got very good response of parents. online admissions were happening, but now parents have started coming physically to school to ensure how is the infra, security, faculties and all. So it's going on both ways. As far as like there's no uniform academic outcome is concerned, to ensure that all of the children are there on the same platform, because children are coming from all different walks of life, different boards also, then different places, transferable parents also are there. So to have a uniform academic outcome, we share with them the students handbook, we call it, like the all basic subject wise, topic wise job sheets for them, notes for them to, and we request parents to make their children go through the same, so that when they come and join in the month of April, they are there on the same platform. This is one. Secondly is related to the we are doing a lot of digital marketing and all. Parents are inquiring also. We are showcasing our school there, and we are now associated with UniApply also, and we are hoping that we are going to get a good response out of that, because we have 3 new ventures. One is CBSE at Kamote, one here at Kharghar. We are starting with the Cambridge board and state board as well. So 3 boards are there. So we are hoping for the best. We are getting all the inquiries of the parents, offline and online both.
Sure. So thank you so much. I think it brings me to the end of this discussion. We have already overshot 3-4 minutes on the time. I am thankful to each of the educators, principals, for sharing their views on Mumbai Back to School webinar, as well as a couple of principals also touched on the process related to admissions, which I'm assuming more or less applicable to all the schools in Mumbai largely per se. So I'm thankful to each educator for joining on this webinar and sharing your views. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.